welcome to the Florida Person Podcast.
Hi, everybody. Hello.
Florida
Person. Florida Person. Florida Person.
Yeah, we were just talking about how if you were, wondering why this last episode got out so late, boom, because I had COVID for the first time. Finally.
The first time. Congratulations.
Well, not like finally.
Finally,
I got it. I was kind of hoping I just would never get it. I probably had to take, 50 tests over the last almost 3 years because I had to work during the pandemic and all that.
Yeah, and you were traveling for work and stuff, and
and so I've taken a lot of tests. I almost didn't believe it, and I sent it to my boss. I was like, dude, I got COVID, and I sent him a picture of the positive test, and he's like, I would just believe you. You don't have to send me the picture. And I'm like, yeah, man, but I can hardly believe it myself. I can hardly believe that I got it, but I'm feeling much better, and
that's good.
Really at the end of it now, so
that's good. It sounds like
we survived.
Your little vaccines went to work and knew what
they did
bugs to get, and
I think if you're gonna get it, not that anybody can control this at this point, but if you're gonna get it at the far end of the pandemic, get it at the very end after we've been on vaccines and boosters and it's mellowed out a little bit. That's when you get it. Because the thing that is annoying is I was out of tests and I had to go buy a test at CVS, and one test at CVS is $10. And I was like,
oh gosh. That sucks that they're not giving them out for free.
Well, they are giving them out for free. Then not that much longer. As soon as I got home after buying this test, because I just had to test and I had to do it soon, I got on the government website and immediately ordered some more tests. And they came yesterday. So now I have a bunch of tests ready to go should this happen soon again.
Yeah. It's fun to get so many things in the mail like that for free. You're like, yay.
Yeah, especially knowing how expensive they are. So stock up before they stop doing that, because they are not cheap to get on your own. Especially, and a weird part, if I tested negative, I would have felt so ripped off.
Well, I guess it all worked out then.
I just spent $10 to be told no? I don't know.
No.
It would have felt weird for sure. It felt weird actually testing positive for the first time in 3 years of this, but I digress.
Gosh, well, I'm glad you're recovering and feeling better.
I am feeling better. Yeah. I feel good. I feel now I got some extra immunities built. I feel like it's good. It's good. It's good now.
It all works out.
Yeah, it's just adding to, and I never lost smell or taste, which I don't think many people do anymore. But that was one of the things I was worried about.
When I had that, it was like that. That's how I knew. And I took a test, and then I spent the next week using different oils, essential oils.
Trying to test it, see if you could smell it.
Yeah, I was so afraid to lose my sense of smell. And I was watching all these videos about how to retain your sense of smell and how to do this whole remember what peppermint smells like. And so you smell this oil and you think about peppermint, and I don't know. It all worked out. I recovered. I regained my sense of smell and taste. And
I've just heard some people, it takes a long time for it to come back.
I know, and there's some people that it has not come back, and that's just, geez, what a tragedy.
And that would just really be a stinker, unless you were about to go on some kind of crazy juice cleanse or something, and you're like, well, this is fine because I'll just choke it down and not even taste this nasty stuff or whatever. I guess there could be some uses. But I'm always thinking, I'm like, oh man, I don't want my pits to smell weeks later, and I don't know. How embarrassing, or I can't smell the litter box as I walk past it, and it just is overflowing with kitty poopies, and how embarrassing.
That's when you rely on your other senses.
Yeah, touch.
Sight and touch.
Or something like that. Or something. We already did President's Day. So
Yes.
what historical event is coming forward now that you got to tell us about?
Well, I mean, historical for me. Yesterday was Elizabeth Taylor's birthday.
Oh yeah, that's historical for I feel like a lot of people.
For a lot of people, I think for entertainment, for actors, and for definitely like AIDS research and stuff like that. Because not only was she started her career. I mean, she was born in 1932, and she started her career as a child, but she, grew into a young actress, in Academy Award-winning actress, and she was really involved. She's one of the first entertainer in Hollywood to really do things about the AIDS crisis in the 80s.
Yeah.
So there were a lot of interesting little articles that I came across.
Well, if she was born in the 30s, by the 80s she was like an elder gal, right?
Yeah.
So that's actually pretty cool that she was working with like the AIDS crisis stuff, because it was definitely not like probably in style with her generation.
It wasn't in style with anybody.
Yeah, it wasn't.
There are a couple of documentaries about this, and there is a really great article that I saw on Logo TV about what she did, and it's called The 23 Reasons Why Elizabeth Taylor Was the Ultimate AIDS Activist. There will be another like her. It's from a few years ago. And it talks about her not only being, celebrated as an award-winning actress and a timeless beauty. I mean,
oh yeah,
she was the most famous woman in the world for periods of time. She was she was the first actress to make $1 million.
Well, I think she's one of the few actresses that you can say her name and anybody can think of what she looks like,
Yes.
Like they know exactly her style, what she looks like, the whole thing.
Yes, she's famous for her black hair and her red lips and her eyes. Her like lavender eyes is what they would say, because she had dark blue eyes, but with certain colors they would appear lavender.
I'm so jealous of people their eyes change colors and stuff. Mine are always dark brown, and that's all you're gonna get.
Mine go between green and blue.
Lucky.
So depending on what I'm wearing.
Lucky.
And what is it? She also was famously married many times. She had many, many husbands. But back then, it was like you couldn't just like date around.
Yeah,
like,
it was not looked kindly on to have, especially as a woman.
Yeah, and exactly. Yeah, her first husband was Conrad Hilton Jr. So she was
of the Hiltons.
Yeah, and he was a real asshole.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that was a marriage that was set up by like the studio to like promote Father of the Bride, basically. And
so weird that they
were
used
married
to do that.
For a year. Yeah, and so like a lot of her marriages, with that one ended in 1951, and then she married Michael Wilding in 1952. And they divorced in 1957, and she married Mike Todd in 1957. He died in 1958. Oh, and there was the thing about Elizabeth Taylor is she had such a full, rich life filled with just like scandals. And not only was she a great actress and a great beauty, but she also had all these loves and these scandalous things. So like Elizabeth Taylor was married to Mike Todd. She was pregnant with his child. Things were going great.
Oh yeah.
Her best friend was Debbie Reynolds. And Debbie Reynolds was married to Eddie Fisher, and Eddie Fisher was best friends with Mike Todd. So they're all like this, like two couples, best friends or whatever. But then Mike Todd died in a plane crash. Oh, no. And I guess Eddie Fisher really reminded her of Mike Todd. So then her and Eddie Fisher like ended up together, and Eddie Fisher left Debbie Reynolds' mother. Eddie Fisher left Debbie Reynolds for Elizabeth Taylor.
Ooh.
And Eddie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds, their daughter was Carrie Fisher, who was Princess Leia.
Right. That's who I'm trying to think. I was thinking of, why does that sound so familiar? Ah.
So, and that was like the biggest scandal in all of the tabloids back then. And it was around that time that she was cast as Cleopatra. And they went over to, to Italy to film Cleopatra. And then who does she meet on Cleopatra, playing Mark Anthony, but her next husband, Richard Burton.
Mm.
And when she met Richard Burton, who was the love of her life, then, Eddie Fisher was like, not, Eddie Fisher was no more. And she married Richard Burton twice.
Oh, okay. Why not?
Yeah.
Why not?
They married in 1964. They got divorced in 1974. And then they married again a year later. And they're in a great movie called Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf, directed by Mike Nichols. That is such a great movie. You must see it. I really recommend it.
It does seem like back then, sometimes with the, let's call it like the upper class, it was too easy to get married, and it's like, oh, well, we really like each other. We've been going steady for a couple months.
Yeah, and it just was unseemly for somebody to be like not married.
Yeah, if you're just like dating, they're like, well, why not just do it?
You can't be doing it. That's why.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. All right.
There was a lot of things that she was famous for. And there's a really cute article from years ago that was released like right after her death in The Hollywood Reporter, where she talks, it's like she makes a list of like the 25 things that, 25 secrets that people don't know about her, or things that, like that she converted to Judaism in 1959.
Oh, did she? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
and she didn't go on a date till she was 16.
Oh.
She says, I never faced the day without perfume. So a lot of cute things there. I guess I'll stop there. I'm going to talk about some more Elizabeth Taylor stuff, but I want to hear a story about like what's going on in the world now.
All right. So this is a strange one, switching gears a little bit. So the Mexican president, right?
Well,
the
what's
president
his name
of
again?
Mexican. It's Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador.
Oh,
right?
yes. Him, yes.
So he's a little kooky, right? He's a little bit kooky. And there's a little bit, there's like more serious news coming out of Mexico today involving him. They're like trying to eliminate this like voting thing that might eliminate the dual party system there, and is kind of sounding kind of fascist,
Yeah.
So there's that, but we're not going to talk about that. That's a little too heavy. Right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about something else. Instead, this is coming out of Mexico City. It says Mexican president posts photo of what he claims is an elf.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. So Mexican's president posted a photo on his social media account Saturday showing what he said appeared to be a mythological woodland spirit similar to an elf.
What?
President Andres Manuel Lopez Obrador did not seem to be joking when he posted the photo of an alux. I think it's Aluxe. Alux, a mischievous woodland spirit in Mayan folklore.
What?
Lopez Obrador wrote the photo was taken 3 days ago by an engineer. It appears to be an alux, adding, everything is mystical. The nighttime photo shows a tree with a branch forming what looks like a halo of hair and what may be stars forming the figure's eyes.
It looks like an Ewok.
Lopez Obrador has long expressed reverence for indigenous cultures and belief. Engineers and workers are in the Yucatan Peninsula constructing a tourist train that is the president's pet project. According to traditional Mayan belief, aluxes are small, mischievous creatures that inhabit forests and fields and are prone to playing tricks on people, like hiding things.
Aww.
Some people leave small offerings to appease them. Many continue speaking the Mayan language and wearing traditional clothing while also conserving traditional foods, crops, religion, and medicine practices, despite the conquest of the region by the Spanish between 1527 and 1546. So, did he see a little Mayan elf? Well, it's hard to say. I'm going to see. How do you say alux? pronunciation.
Oh my gosh, it's very cute if that's a real little elf.
Let's see, what does it say? howtopronounce.com.
I hope that there are little mischievous
Aloops.
creatures all over like every culture has little mischievous creatures. And
They
I wonder
do.
if they all communicate with each other and like in like another realm.
Yeah, they all gotta
trade stories.
Yeah, they all gotta have like some kind of thing, right? I mean, it's just like how you have different, animals and stuff like that around the world, But like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really know. It's Alux. So I was close enough. I'm not going to change anything. That was pretty close.
That's really very cute. I like the little picture.
Yeah. I'm glad that he was so confident about it too, I like it when people are that confident about it. Like Donald Trump would have been a lot more personable if he had every once in a while just been like, I'm pretty sure I saw a leprechaun. I'm pretty sure. Here's a picture. Sure. Here's a picture. I saw some fairies last night. I'm pretty sure.
Gosh.
This just saying.
Or maybe this is just a distraction away from that guy's anti-democratic policy changes. Look, an elf. Look at.
I mean, hey, I didn't listen to the full story. I heard bits and pieces on NPR this morning when I was waking up, but I'm not sure if it's him promoting it or like another party. I don't really know, but I know that some stuff's going on.
Wow, man.
So, and then I'm sure as this comes out, like there'll be like breaking news, and then we'll look dumb.
Breaking news: we have an interview with the elf.
We'll have an interview. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. They have an interview with the elf. So that's all I got to say. Alux, the Alux, and great. Yeah, I love it. Very fun. Very fun. I wish there were more mystical creatures just like doodadding around.
That would be great.
Be a better world.
Yeah, but all I have here are squirrels and iguanas.
Yeah.
And alligators.
Honestly, not too bad over there then. Not too bad.
Gosh. So, well, I guess back to Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes.
Iconic woman. Mm-hmm. So she co-founded the National AIDS Research Foundation.
Oh, really? Dang. Good for her.
Because a lot of celebrities, when this first came out, they didn't want to be attached to it.
Yeah.
They didn't want to be associated with it. But she was able to, because of her star power, which was something that she, struggled with her whole life. Fighting against attention and what people would say about her in the press. And the Catholic Church, denounced her and Richard Burton, don't see Cleopatra. If you do, it's a mortal sin to see this movie. That sort of thing.
Wow. Okay.
So she decided that with her name that she cared about people a lot. She saw that this disease was happening to people, to friends of hers, and she was just like, bitch, do something, is what she told herself. And so she said, well, with my star power, I'm going to use this so I can get attention to the cause.
Great.
And her foundation is still around. During this time in the mid to late 80s, early 90s, she was really involved with actual legislation, getting the Ryan White Care Act passed. And everybody, there was no need to explain who she was to any of these senators. They
know exactly who. You wouldn't have to. Well, that's
and they were charmed. And they were charmed by it, by her.
I was about to say that you wouldn't have to explain to any of the senators and stuff now, but now I'm not so sure. Now who? Oh,
now, yeah, now
there's a lot of dummies now elected. There's a lot of dum-dums, so maybe not. Maybe the space lasers woman wouldn't know.
Yeah, she really, there's a lot of great information about her and what she did that I'll share in the link. That's really interesting to read.
Yeah.
She was also really, 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 really best friends with Michael Jackson.
Oh, okay. Awesome.
And there's a book that came out recently in the last 10 years about their, their relationship and their whole, they both were child stars, so they kind of bonded over that.
In a weird way, some of like the plastic surgery that Michael Jackson got kind of emulated her, didn't it?
That is what a lot of people say.
I know that's like a rumor, but like he basically got her nose.
But it's like, I mean, really, when you see Remember the Time music video, there's no denying the resemblance.
Yeah. I know that's what people say, but
yes.
like I mean, come on.
Yeah, some people think it was a tribute to Elizabeth Taylor gone terribly wrong, is what one of these articles mentions. I think my favorite thing having to do with Michael Jackson and Elizabeth Taylor is that Michael Jackson was raised a Jehovah's Witness,
right?
And eventually, stopped being a Jehovah's Witness. In 1993 is when Elizabeth Taylor made his first Christmas. So it's on video that was like shared as a part of some sort of Michael Jackson special. So when he was alive, talking about, how Elizabeth planned it, how it was at Neverland Ranch. And then it has like, home video, which is always fun seeing like old home videos of like stars back in their time in their heyday, because we're so used to seeing all of that now that it's just very like fresh seeing,
That's also, it's so staged now whenever they're like, this is just some celebrity at their home. You're like, no, it's not. You're doing like a Cribs thing.
Yeah, no, this is like VHS. I think Elizabeth's husband, Larry Fortensky, like her final husband was like recording it. She's like putting the presents out and it's at Neverland. And then there's one part though, where like she's trying to wake him up and she's like knocking on the door. And she's like, Michael, Merry Christmas. The ghost of Christmas present is here. Like, and then Michael Jackson in the interview in like the, later years, he's like, well, it's really hard for me to wake up. And it's like, oh no. We know, Michael, we know. But it's very fun to see this video. It's like 10 minutes and she's just having Christmas.
Oh, good.
Christmas. Yeah. So, yeah. But there's a lot of information about Elizabeth Taylor. There's a really great book about the love story between Elizabeth Taylor and Richard Burton called Furious Love, which has all of these letters. Like Richard Burton would write her these letters, these like insanely over the top romantic letters. And it's fun to read in there. So I'll include all those links.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, there you go. Now you know a little bit more about Elizabeth Taylor outside of some of her film credits. Now you know some of her life credits, if you will. There you go.
Yes.
Really wrap that up nice, huh?
Nice.
Yeah, nice. Well done. So we always like to end on a Florida story. Last week, I had a Florida resident stories. The alligator pulled from the NYC lake, right?
Oh,
and
yeah.
This week, I have an update on that.
Oh, of the same alligator?
Of the same alligator. So remember, this alligator was pulled from a small lake in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Not supposed to be there. Way too cold for this gator. They surmised that the gator was probably dumped there. No, definitely dumped there. The gator was dumped. The gator
he didn't
appear.
Fly. Yeah, he didn't just take a plane. It was like
the gator didn't walk there or something. So this is an update from the update came out on February 23rd, 2023. Alligator pulled from NYC lake had swallowed bathtub stopper.
Oh my god! So did he go down the bathtub?
No. I think he just swallowed one. He's too big. He's like 5 feet long.
Oh, I didn't.
And we gotta stop calling him a he because it's a she baby. This is a shalligator over here.
Oh my gosh!
It's lady gator time. So this little lady that was rescued from the lake, you remember about last week, pulled from the lake in Brooklyn. So the alligator that was rescued from a chilly lake in New York City over the weekend had swallowed a bathtub stopper, authorities said. The
Aw.
nearly 5-foot long, 1.5 meter long female gator was lethargic and suffering from exposure to the cold when it was found in Brooklyn's Prospect Park Lake on Sunday, according to a spokesperson for the Bronx Zoo, where the gator is recovering. Now, once again, I'll remind listeners that 5 feet long, that's from nose to tail. So this actually isn't a huge gator. You could pick this gator up. It would even don't do that, but it wouldn't be one of these like weighing a ton, like swallow you whole kind of gators.
Yeah.
So that's from nose to the tail. So, and like probably 2 feet of that is the tail. So it's not a huge gator. It's a medium-sized gator.
My gosh.
So after being spotted by park maintenance workers Sunday morning, the alligator was pulled from the lake and taken to animal care centers of New York City before it was brought to the Bronx Zoo. Zoo officials said in a news release that the rescued alligator is too weak to eat on its own and is being tube fed. At 15 pounds, see, it's only 15 pounds.
Oh.
But at 15 pounds, the alligator is extremely emaciated, as an alligator of its length should weigh 30 to 35 pounds, they said. So, X-rays show that the alligator, estimated to be 5 to 6 years old, had ingested a 4-inch or 10-centimeter bathtub stopper, zoo officials said, noting that the animal is too weak for veterinarians to try to remove it.
Oh my gosh.
So I don't think that it grabbed the stopper on the way down the drain. I think it just kind of ate a bathtub stopper because it probably was like kind of moving
hungry.
around.
Yeah, and it was probably like, I'm so hungry.
So when they say bathtub stopper, they have like the X-ray of it, and it looks like it's one of those where it's a rubber stopper on the end of one of those metal like ball chains.
Okay.
So probably it was like stuck under something and it was probably moving around because the rubber floats and it was like, oh, that looks like a fish. You know?
Aww.
And probably just scooped it right down.
Aww.
So I'm sure as like the alligator gains its strength back, they probably will operate and get that thing out of the gator. Get it out of the gator. It says it is illegal to have an alligator in New York State. Yeah, no duh. Well, actually, wonder what states it is legal to have an alligator.
I wonder. That's
interesting. But it is not uncommon for people to buy young alligators and then abandon them. A baby alligator was found in a swimming pool in suburban Bayport in 2019. Gosh. Animal Care Center spokesperson Katie Hansen said that the organization has taken in 6 American alligators since 2018. The Bronx Zoo director Jim Breheny called the alligator found Sunday a sad example of the exotic pet trade. People need to think before they acquire exotic animals, Breheny said. Everyone needs to know and realize that wild animals don't make good pets. True.
What are you going to do with an alligator? Like, you just have it as a baby and then you're just not thinking about its future?
Especially in the city. I mean, I've always dreamed of having like a large property, maybe somewhere in Florida, where I have a lake that's just teeming with gators.
Jeez.
But this little lake in my my fantasy, they got there themselves. They were like, this looks like a good place. And I was like, gators, you can stay here. And they were like, thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you. So Breheny said leaving the alligator in a lake in Brooklyn in the wintertime was an irresponsible act and certainly not in the animal's best interest. Yeah.
Oh, exactly.
So if you have, I think the same rules go. You know how like you're supposed to, if you don't want your baby, you bring him to the fire station. I'm pretty sure there's like the same deal with alligators. You don't want your alligator, bring him to the zoo.
They
surrender it.
They do have that surrendering thing I've seen in a lot of places because I've watched that. I don't know. There's like some show about like when pets go wild or something, like when pets attack and there was an episode where somebody had a hyena as a pet. And the hyena, there was no criminal charges if they surrendered the hyena.
So just like if you have a gator or a hyena or something like that, and you can't take care of it because you're just one person and not a zoo yourself, unless you are a fully functioning zoo yourself, you know, it's time to do what's best for the animal and surrender it.
Oh, and
that's
learned
the PSA of the day.
There's another PSA that I have in Florida. If you are in Florida and you see an alligator that's at least 4 feet in length and it presents a danger to pets, livestock, or humans, it's considered a nuisance alligator, and you call the statewide nuisance alligator hotline.
Oh.
Because there was a woman last week, a woman that was walking her dog up in north of me, and she kind of got in the way, and then the alligator pulled her in, and she was killed by the alligator. And it was very sad. They had trappers come in and collect the alligator. And I guess since then they've removed 3 alligators from that community. It's people, they see alligators like sunning themselves out. And I know it's really, really rare that an alligator attacks, but they could.
They're opportunistic predators. So they wait until something crosses the path, and then they, and they don't stop to look at that it's something that they would normally want to eat. They just go for it. It's reptiles. This is a reptile brain. But yeah, that's a good thing. If you live in an area with alligators, there is definitely numbers you can call.
Nuisance. It's a nuisance.
And the same thing goes for like snakes and stuff too. Like if you have like a snake that needs to get removed, don't go like trying to like bash it with a shovel or something. Call the snake guys, the snake authorities. They definitely exist in your area if you have, wild animals like that. And, it's definitely common in Florida because you have all those water retention ponds everywhere.
Everywhere. Absolutely. Everywhere.
And every once in a while, a gator goes, this looks like, this could be my new condo, and moves right in with the rest of you guys. It happened all the time when I was growing up because we grew up on like a little lake in Boca Raton. And it was not really a lake. It was, a water retention pond that houses were around to make sure all the houses didn't sink. But every once in a while we'd see the gator people out there removing a gator because one would get too big and, be snapping at someone's dog.
Yeah. And you see them in the water and their like little eyeballs are just like, they're floating around.
That. Yeah, they got that double eyelid action. I like that. I like that. All right. So if you got a gator problem, you know what to do now. If you got a podcast problem, you don't anymore because you just listened to one.
Yeah. So, you made your quota.
So with that, we're off next week, but then we'll be back. And it's, that's it. That's the Florida Person Podcast.
That's it. All right. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Florida Person. Florida Person. Florida Person.